You basically find out more about yourself, because before you come out you're sort of acting like someone that you're not. So you find out your true self and things about yourself that you never thought were possible. I've always sort of known that I was sort of gay or different as a child, or more pre-teen sort of thing, and I came to accept it at the end of year 9. I never thought I had any friends that would accept it, because I grew up in a Christian family and had Christian friends, but they weren't like conventional Christian people. They were really open-minded, so they were sort of the first people I came to come out to.
I think I was about 17 years old, and I hadn't had a partner for a long time, and I just realised that I started looking at girls. And when you're growing up, you read Dolly and Girlfriend magazine, and they'll say girls do look at other girls, they compare sizes, they want to see what other girls look like to see if they look normal, they look the same. So I just assumed that me looking at girls was normal, but then I realised that instead of actually comparing myself to them, I was actually like checking them out.
Probably in high school, I was first attracted to a girl. But at that stage, I also was so religious and had such a religious growing up that I just would push it away, sort of like, that's not right, that's not of God, and all that sort of stuff. So it sort of just phased away. Then I met my boyfriend and done all that sort of stuff, got engaged, fell pregnant, had a baby.
Before I was 19, I never even considered being with a girl. Actually, after the girl, not actually kissing a girl, it kind of made sense for other things in my life, and especially my parents, they kind of put things together, and we realised that we would have noticed earlier, but we didn't.
When I came out to my family, I wrote a letter and I moved out 2 seconds later. I said, "Mum, Dad, I'm moving out, moving into a friend's place." And when I left a letter on the table that said, blah, 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 I'm gay, yada, yada, yada. And about 10 minutes later, I got a phone call from Mum saying, "Come back home, you didn't move out because you're gay. We already knew."
It wasn't until I was about 17 that I realised this, and then I just kept it to myself for a little while. I told my best friend, who I was living with at the time, with her and her mum, and she was like, "Yeah, we knew that already." So, yeah, that was good.
Coming out in year 10 was one of the biggest things I've had to do, and I'm still sort of coming out to other family members. That was really difficult, and it was a lot to my mind. Like, it was really hard on my mind. It took me a while to get to it.
When I realised that I like girls, it kind of threw me off, because I didn't realise that I didn't know myself that well, because the whole time growing up I thought that I knew what I wanted and knew who I was, and to realise at 19 that I actually am gay was a kind of a big, huge thing for me and the family, but they took it on board and they love my girlfriend.
I rang my mum one day. It wasn't in person, which I would have liked, because my mum lives far away. And I rang her up one day and I said, "Mum, I've met someone, I really, really like them." And she was like, "Oh yeah, what's his name?" I said her name. She was like, oh okay, what's her name?" So yeah, there was never any problems with that. She's very accepting of me and the rest of my family as well, which is really good.
Friends that I used to catch a train with and used to talk to heaps at school. One day he said he wouldn't care if I was gay. So I told him, but it was really sort of hypocritical, because the next day he told one of the most blabbermouth people at school, and it just spread around like wildfire. Everyone was just coming up to me, asking me questions and being like, "Are you gay?" sort of thing, and I sort of like, took me a while to get used to. It was hard because I lost all the friends I had, but that was good, because the friends that I had at that stage I no longer talk to now, and they've really, it showed me who my true friends were. So year 10 was really, really hard, but it made me stronger as a person. So it's one of those things you have to go through to make you deal with them?
It was never really an issue with my friends knowing. It was more an issue of me trying to find out who I am in my own self. Most of them already knew, or they had an idea, so it didn't shock them and they were fine with it. I came out but didn't do anything about it for a long time. I was too nervous, I was too scared, I didn't know anyone else. I had no idea, I was just really clueless. I had no one really to talk to about it, so I was just trying to work out who I was, which was the start of me coming out and the start of a journey of finding my own self, and it did take a couple of years, but I made it and I'm very happy with the person that I've become.
Hop, behind, in front, behind, heel, toe, toe. With the Christian school, the students were fine except for 3 girls who decided that, oh, we're going to play on this. And so they ended up getting to my assistant principal, who's caught wind of it all and called me to the office and asked me, have you been talking about your sex life in class, blah, blah, blah. To which I said no. And she says, well, we've got people who claim that you have. And it's just like, well, I haven't. Later on that day, he ended up coming up to my classroom and doing this big spiel about how homosexuality is wrong, and if they knew that I was gay when they accepted me into the school, then they wouldn't have accepted me and all of that. After that day, I just left and I couldn't handle it.
You want to go higher? Yeah. How high? I don't think I've actually come across any major issues with homophobia or anything like that. Basically because I don't surround myself with people that have issues with it. Like, I still attend church, like they understand, and there's other people there that are the same. Peekaboo! The most thing that's ever happened to me was I was at a train station and, got some abuse when I kissed my girlfriend goodbye, and that was it. So it was sort of like nothing like major where I've heard of stories where eggs have been thrown at people and that sort of stuff, so not really, yeah.
Undo that. Flange off the back of the table.
What people see in the media and what they hear from other people, that angers me, because they're not thinking for themselves. And just what they hear, basically, if someone tells them something, they believe it instantly. People thinking that all gay people are really effeminate, girly men, which is not the case of all people. And that's the thing, when I came out, I thought I had to act like that, and it makes people who are coming out thinking they have to be something they're not. That a few years ago, I thought it was never possible to find any other gay person that loved cars as much as I did, because that's a really sort of straight sort of stereotype, and I thought there'd be no one in the gay community that would like that. But you notice as you get older and you get more contacts and you realise there are people that like that.
Bye! My children are pretty lucky because I guess I get along with their dads really well. We've always just made that sure that the kids would understand they're the most important thing to us. No matter what goes on, their mum and dad loves them. And they go to Sunday school, so they get the values and the belief system from the church as well. Can mummy go down? Yeah. You reckon? And then when they're at that age of 10, 11 and 12, if they choose to pursue going to church and living a religious life, then that's their choice. And if they choose to not follow that and to be gay or be straight or whatever, then that's their choice. What is that?
Hey, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
These ones, thanks.
Have you burnt this one before?
No, is it nice?
Awesome, it's my favourite. There's always the stereotypes about the butch and the femme, and it's always people like to put them into those two categories. When you have a lesbian couple, people always want to know who the male person is in that relationship, which for myself and Lindsay is pretty hard because we're both very femme and girly girls, so people always want to know who the boy is in that relationship, which is a bit tough because people can't really understand that we are who we are, and that's what makes us happy.
Going out on the scene, you see a lot of girls that there is basically a lesbian fashion, and to be part of that, and I dress like that with the whole short hair thing and piercings and pinstripe pants and studded belts and tank tops and tattoos and stuff, yeah. I know this is going to sound really stupid, but when you're coming out, you want to fit in, and you dress a certain way, and you go out and you see all these other chicks and they're dressed exactly the same, but they feel so individual and unique, and because that's their own style as well, that's who they are, like that's how they feel comfortable.
1, 2, 3, 4. As soon as I started watching Queer as Folk, I watched it for like 2 or 3 episodes and I just went, I can't stand this. This is all stereotypes. You got the gay stud who everyone wants. You've got the campy queen and the young boy, all that. I just can't stand this. And from then on, it's just like I've been trying so hard to just break out of the stereotypes. And one of the first things people do is just like, well, you don't look gay, or you don't act gay. And it's just like, well, I can tell you 3 people who you would think are quite straight and really carried a straight image, but I can tell you now they're gay. They could just be normal people that could be your checkout assistant, or could even be your best friend, but you don't know it. Your brother, your sister, anyone.
I do want to settle down maybe 10, 15 years, 20 years from now, and maybe I'd love to have kids possibly, but it just depends on the person I'm with, sort of thing.
I would like to find a partner and settle down with my children. I always say that I'd never ever have more children, but I could never say that if I was to find and fall in love with a male who didn't have children, then I probably would think about it. If he could promise me a girl, I'd most definitely do it.
When I came out, I didn't have any fear about what I was doing anymore. I could go out and I could do plays, and it educates people that we do lead normal, healthy lives.
I would definitely say to a young person, if they are questioning their sexuality, to actually make sure they do not go around talking to too many people. Make sure you've got a safe person to tell and trust. Give yourself a bit more time to think about your feelings and make sure it's what you want before you actually come out to more people, because you don't know the reaction you're going to have around you.
Carla and I are going overseas to get married. I think we're planning on doing it in Holland. I think we're actually legally allowed to get married over there. I really do hope that it does come into effect in laws in Australia. We're going to, when we get back, we're going to save up, we're going to buy a house. We're going to get our own business set up so we can work together and work for ourselves. No children as of yet. Sorry Mum, she wants lots of grandkids, but we're going to have a puppy and a snake, and she won't want to come visit because we want a spider as well. We're very committed to each other, and we're ready to set up the rest of our lives together because we know this is it. She's the one for me, and we're very happy.